Friday, August the 8th, 1969, began peacefully at the house on the hill above Los Angeles. The house that had been visited several times by Charles Manson when a recording executive lived there. Manson had never met the new tenant, actress Sharon Tate, who was spending the day with her friends.
Sharon Tate is Jennifer.
Sharon Tate, the rising star and most beautiful of the young women in the film Valley of the Dolls. And now, 8.5 months pregnant.
I idolized her. I thought the world revolved around her.
Tate's younger sister Patty remembers that hot summer.
We literally spent our days lounging around the house, floating in the pool, and she had a really large inner tube, a big one with a big hole in the center that she could fit her belly into and just float to keep cool.
Tate's husband, film director Roman Polanski, was expected home soon from Europe to be there for the birth of their son.
This was first truly happy period of my life, you know.
Sometime before midnight, 40 miles away from the house on the hill, Charles Manson told Pat Krenwinkel to get into a car with 3 other followers. Susan Atkins, Linda Kasabian, and Charles Tex Watson, once an all-American high school athlete, now Manson's most fervent believer.
And he said, do everything the text says. And we were off.
Watson says Manson had given him explicit instructions where to go, to kill everyone there, and to do it memorably. Did you tell Tex Watson what to do?
No.
Did you tell the women to go with him and do what he said?
Yeah, I told him to go do what Tex said. Yeah.
Why? Why were you telling them that if you didn't even know what he was going to do?
That's the line I was walking.
When they arrived at the house on the hill, Watson told them their assignment was murder. This is Pat Krenwinkel's first interview in 25 years about what happened.
It took a long time to break it all down because, my God, to take a look at what I had really done.
It was just after midnight when the 4 Manson followers pulled up to the gate.
Tex had gone and he went up a telephone pole and cut the lines.
Then they all climbed over the gate.
He left us and he went forward and we heard gunshots.
Watson had intercepted a young man, a visitor named Steve Parent, on his way home, and had shot him 4 times at point-blank range.
He came back and told us to come with him.
Krenwinkel and Atkins followed Watson up to the house.
Trying to get into the house, he eventually, I think he went through a window or something, returned to a front door and allowed the rest of us to enter.
Houseguest Wojtek Frykowski was dozing on the living room couch when he was kicked awake by Watson. 3 others were gathered from the back: Tate's old friend, Hollywood hairdresser J. Sebring, Abigail Folger, heiress to the Folger coffee fortune, and Sharon Tate. When Sebring tried to protect Tate, Watson shot and stabbed him.
And everyone else at that point obviously was getting really frightened and scared.
A desperate Frykowski tried to flee but was caught outside by Watson, shot, beaten, and stabbed. Abigail Folger had been tied with a rope.
Abigail Folger started to get herself undone, and she took off. And at that point in time, I left and followed her. I ran after her with an upraised knife, and we went out through a back door, and I ran her down, and I began to stab her.
Do you remember her screaming at you?
Yeah, I remember her saying, "I'm already dead."
Inside, as Sharon Tate begged for the life of her unborn child, Atkins says she stood by while Watson stabbed Tate over and over again. Death was everywhere.
But you're a part of this horrendous dance. And it was like, no matter what or anywhere I turned, it wasn't going to stop.
Krenwinkel says Watson sent her to check the caretaker's cottage to kill anyone there. But when she got to the door, she stopped.
When I looked around, I knew this is wrong. It was like an echo from way back that said, wait a minute, this has finally gone into total madness.
5 people were dead. All the murderers took was $70.
When I got back to the ranch, we got out of the car, Charlie came up and asked everybody how it went. But that was the first time I looked at him and I said, Charlie, they were so young.
She might have said that, and I might have been so stoned I don't remember.
They said you asked, do you have any remorse?
Yeah, I did say that to him. I said, do you have any remorse for your actions? When you go to war against an enemy, you go to war for God and country, and you give your life to that cause.
So that night they were going out to fight the war.
They were going out to fight the war.
All he really ever said after that was, don't tell anyone.
Yet the next night you were there again.
Yeah, Charlie definitely had me go the second night.
And you knew what was coming again?
Yes.
You didn't say no.
No. And at that point, I felt so dead inside, it really didn't matter.
Manson also summoned Leslie Van Houten, who had not gone the first night.
He asked me, do you believe enough in what I say to know that this is something that has to be done, or something to that effect? And I said, yes, I do. I didn't walk right up and say, may I go? But I think everything on my face said that.
Once again, a group drove toward Los Angeles, only this time, Manson was at the wheel. Manson told us he chose this residence, the home of a supermarket chain owner, because he'd once been to a party at the house next door. Inside, Rosemary LaBianca was getting ready for bed, while her husband Lino was reading the Sunday paper with its headlines about the Tate murders. Then Manson walked in the door.